All right, here we go.
You look
3.
great.
You look great, dude. You're looking great. You're looking great.
Yeah.
Is that you're wearing a different sweatshirt this morning?
No, I had the same one.
That's a compliment.
Yeah. Yeah. I struck you
It looks
twice.
fresh all the time.
Yeah.
3, 2. This is Nick.
This is Jack.
It's Friday, the real Friday, November 11th, and today's pod is the best one yet. It's a T-bone.
Now, it is Friday, the real Friday, unless
you're working at Chick-fil-A, Jack. Must be nice.
remember the 3-day work week they got at Chick-fil-A?
The Chick-fil-A 3-day work week.
It's been the weekend for days over there.
They haven't been working for like 5 days. It's incredible. I love it.
They've been dipping chickens like a week ago.
But Jack, what's our first story for the real Friday?
Crypto just had the worst, most painful week of the year.
Crypto winter just became crypto avalanche.
On the other hand is our second story. The stock market just had the best day of the year.
Because finally, inflation is chilling out.
For our third and final story, 2 weeks into Elon owning Twitter, can be summed up with one handle.
The real LeBron James
Spoiler.
is the fake LeBron James.
But Yetis, before we hit that wonderful mix,
The perfect mix to go into the weekend with. Love the
the
mix.
greatest painter of our lifetime.
It's not Picasso, it's not Warhol, and it's not Frida Kahlo.
Yeah, they were before our lifetime.
It's not Van Gogh, it's not Georgia O'Keeffe, and it's not Mr. Leonardo da Vinci.
They were way before our lifetime.
The most perfect painter in all of our lifetimes. Who is it, Jack?
Bob Ross.
Bob Ross, the painter with a perm.
Every millennial who stayed home sick from school found companionship in Bob Ross's painting.
Bob Ross, he created landscapes like a legend.
No one could put a little bush right over here, little tree on that mountaintop, like Bob Ross
No
could.
one could put a little bunny next to that tree, next to that bush like Bob Ross.
Get this, the late, great television live artist painted 30,000 paintings in his lifetime.
Jack, Bob Ross's TV painting show was like a second renaissance.
But we learned something about Bob Ross from Yeti Melody Tackett in Colorado that we never knew.
Bob Ross wasn't just an artist. No. Bob Ross was in the Air Force.
That's right. At the fresh age of 18 years old, Bob enlisted to the United States Air Force and spent 20 years flying for the country.
Turns out Bob Ross was the Monet of the military.
One of the most artistic veterans.
It's Master Sergeant Bob Ross reporting for duty.
And post-military, he found calmness in painting those landscapes for us.
And then Bob Ross taught us how to paint ourselves.
Today, Veterans Day, we thank Bob for his service.
And to all the Yeti veterans out there.
Thank you for serving.
And to all the bestie vets out there.
Thanks for your work after serving, too.
On the battlefield, in the art studio, thanks for what you're doing.
You've had our backs.
Let's hit our 3 stories.
15 years before this song, 2 boys from the Northeast met in the dorm. They had an idea that caused a cultural storm. It's the best one yet, but the best is the norm. Jack, Nick, that's it. I don't even think they need to practice. 50%, that's a fat tip. T-Boy City on your list. If you know, you know, cause we ready to go. We can't wait no more, so just start the show. Start the show.
For our first story, FTX's meltdown has turned crypto winter into a crypto avalanche.
Here's why Bitcoin and everything touching Bitcoin had its coldest week of the year.
All right, Jack, whip out the weather app over here. What are you seeing over in Bitcoin temperatures?
Well, we've had crypto winter for like a full year now. Prices have been falling for a
yeah,
year.
Bitcoin, it's like 70% off its all-time high. Ben, the Bitcoin, pretty cold right now.
But the selling this week got way worse, and we're calling it a crypto
Yeah,
avalanche.
because panic selling, it led to more panic selling, which picked up momentum, fell down the mountain, led to a snowball effect.
One company's crisis became a snowball that rolled and rolled and rolled and got bigger and bigger and bigger, dropping Bitcoin, tokens, even stocks related to crypto were falling.
One company set off a crypto avalanche from the top of the mountain, and it all started with a snowball.
It all started with FTX.
The snowball was FTX. FTX. FTX, the fourth largest crypto exchange in the entire world.
Full disclosure, we don't know what FTX stood for.
Nobody knows what it stands for.
But it was a blue chip crypto brand with Super Bowl commercials.
We're talking Tom Brady, Giselle, Larry David. This is a lineup supporting this brand.
But 2 days ago, we told you on this pod that FTX ran into some money problems.
So FTX turned to their frenemy Binance, which happens to be the world's largest crypto exchange.
And they asked Binance to bail them out by acquiring the company.
But one day later, Binance said, actually, the deal's off. Sorry, Giselle.
Yeah, we're not going to acquire FTX like we said we were going to yesterday. We're going to potentially let you do your own thing.
Here's the reason, Yetis. Binance looked at the paperwork over at FTX and determined FTX may have misused customer funds.
And Binance wants nothing to do with that shady business.
Yeah, it looks like FTX's founder may have used your crypto coins at FTX to fund his very own personal investments.
And since his own personal investments have fallen in value, it's put your money in FTX accounts at risk.
We're talking about FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried. His irresponsible moves put FTX and honestly the whole crypto industry into a crisis over the last week, into an avalanche.
And the worst part, Nick.
Talk to me, Jack.
All this shady business by this 30-year-old billionaire put regular old account holders' money at risk.
Which led to the latest news from FTX.
FTX is looking for a bailout from somebody.
Anybody.
Or else they're going to have to declare bankruptcy soon.
Where's Ski Patrol when you need them, Jack?
And that alarming prospect that the number 4 crypto exchange in the world could go bankrupt caused the avalanche of falling crypto prices.
It all began with that snowball effect.
Now, we should point out prices bounced back yesterday as everything rose, including the stock market.
But we should also point out those prices of crypto are still way further down than they were last week. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over in crypto?
Crypto was already risky. This week, we learned the piggy bank is risky too.
The piggy bank. Yetis, if you invest in stocks, you face stock market risk.
Yeah, the price of the stock you own could fall, but you hope it rises.
Well, that same market risk exists with crypto too, but this week, we learned there's another risk particular with crypto.
This week, we learned about piggy bank risk. The risk that the exchange handling your crypto loses all your money and you get nothing.
Yeah, with stocks, you never really consider if your brokerage is a risk because there are regulations and insurance that protect you and your investments.
With stocks, there's no piggy bank risk.
But crypto institutions have fallen, like Celsius, and now maybe FTX.
And if your crypto institution falls, you may never see your bend the Bitcoin ever again.
And that is piggy bank risk.
And worries about piggy bank risk helped lead to this week's crypto avalanche.
For our second story, stocks just had their best day of the entire year.
And it's thanks to the celebrity of economic reports.
Okay, so wait, just to sprinkle on some early context here, Jack, crypto just had its worst day of the year.
But stocks are living their best life of 2022.
Industrial stocks jumped 4% yesterday.
Big stocks in the S&P 500 jumped 6% yesterday.
Tech stocks said, hey, don't forget about us. Tech stocks jumped 7% yesterday.
The NASDAQ had a really good day.
Jack and I haven't seen this much green since the Olive Garden all-you-can-eat buffet.
Trick question. They don't have it an all-you-can-eat buffet. A never-ending pasta bowl is different.
I don't know, Jack. I once almost drowned in a Caesar salad there.
It's all thanks to the celebrity of economic reports.
The one economic report that gets all the attention these days.
The Consumer Price Index.
The inflation report.
It gets all the attention, and it finally showed yesterday improvement.
Yeah, it finally showed that we've got a slowdown in inflation.
Prices rose 7.7% in October from the year before.
Now, 7.7%, that sounds like a lot, but it's actually the smallest year-over-year price increase since January.
And it's down quite a bit from peak inflation that we hit over the summertime.
Oh, Jack, what were we hitting back in June when I was visiting you in Vermont?
In June, prices were up 9.1%. That was peak inflation so far.
But Yetis, Jack and I jumped in T-Boy style to that inflation report, and we said to each other, you know what? What do you think, Jack?
Let's give the Yeti something to celebrate.
This inflation report, it had some wins to celebrate.
For example, women's outerwear prices are down almost 2% from last year.
Yeah, go treat yourself to that Canada Goose jacket. It's marginally less expensive.
Beef prices are down almost 4%.
Chuck that ground chuck. Go rip into a ribeye, man. What are you doing?
And tickets to sporting events are down by 17%.
You can go to Madison Square Garden wearing that Canada Goose jacket and get a filet mignon, and it's not going to be as expensive.
Still sounds pretty expensive a day, though, Nick.
It's still going to be a night out. So Yetis, yeah, most prices are still up from last year.
Yeah, inflation is 7.7%, but it's nice to see some crucial things go down in price for once.
Well, Wall Street looked at this and investors are like, hey, we've been trying to identify signs that inflation is reversing.
Investors are hoping the worst of inflation is behind us and that it's all better from here.
And yesterday kind of felt like that first sign.
It did.
So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies who bought stocks yesterday and may be buying T-bone steaks too?
It is way too early to celebrate the end of inflation.
Yetis, you don't want to over pregame before the party. You've been there.
On a monthly basis, we should point out, prices still rose. Like they were up 0.4% compared to the month before.
And honestly, Jack, the three main drivers of inflation that we've talked about.
Too much consumer spending, the war in Ukraine driving up oil prices, and the supply chain issues.
Yeah, those three things are still very much there.
And the Fed won't think inflation is under control until at least a few more months of consistent cooling down.
But despite that, investors celebrated what could be the start of the end of the rising prices.
But we think it's still way too early to celebrate.
Just celebrate a little bit.
Now, a word about our sponsor, Robinhood.
You can do just about anything from your phone, but some industries, they've just been slow to move.
The finance industry was slow to move from phone to computer, and then from computer to app.
Robinhood wasn't. It's the Silicon Valley-based brokerage that's been updating apps since it was born in 2015.
Using the Robinhood app for your stocks and crypto is almost as easy as downloading it.
So you can invest at your pace on your terms by downloading the Robinhood app.
If you're not investing on Robinhood yet, to get started, go to Robinhood.com/TBoy and choose your free stock.
That's Robinhood.com/TBOY. Limitations apply.
Stocks are offered by Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC.
Crypto offered through Robinhood Crypto.
All investments involve risk.
By the way, this podcast is not owned by or part of Robinhood, and we are not employees of Robinhood. For our third and final 2 weeks into Elon buying Twitter, a lot has already happened.
And it's all represented by this one new account.
One account.
The real LeBron James.
But first of all, kind of shocking, Elon just sent his first Twitter email. There you go.
Finally. It took 2 weeks for the new CEO and the new owner to email the employees.
Yeah, and then in that email, Jack and I read it. What was bullet point number 1?
Return to the office now or you're fired.
Oh, work from home? It is over at Twitter.
You have to whip those khakis back on and come in 40 hours a week minimum or you're out.
Oh, and Yetis, Elon's not just firing Twitter employees, he's also firing Twitter users.
That's right. If you don't pay for your blue Twitter checkmark, you're fired.
Oh, and if you impersonate someone else on Twitter, you're fired forever.
Oh, and if you stop advertising, he's threatened, and I quote, thermonuclear name and shame.
Yeah, all of those firings are from Elon in the first 2 weeks.
They all came in the form of threats.
But what fascinated Jack and I was actually the biggest change at Twitter in the last 2 weeks.
Twitter's plan for the $8 a month verified subscriptions, it's already falling apart.
Yeah, and it's all falling apart because of LeBron James.
Hear us out. Here's what went down this week.
We'll explain.
Someone set up a new Twitter account with the handle King James.
And this person paid $8 for that verified check on LeBron James.
Which person?
That would be LeBron James, Jack. LeBron James did that.
Yeah, then this person, LeBron James, with the handle King James, dropped a huge tweet that got a ton of likes and retweets.
They tweeted out, "Farewell to Los Angeles. LeBron is leaving the Lakers."
I think he used it in the first person. He said, I'm leaving the Lakers.
And the sports world was shocked.
Because LeBron's leaving the Lakers? Wow, middle of the season?
But then the sports world learned it was fake.
This fake LeBron account reveals the big problem with Elon's first new product.
And that problem is that the verification blue checkmark isn't really verification at all.
It doesn't verify your identity. It just verifies that you paid $8.
And you don't need to use your imagination to see how this could go horribly wrong.
$8 and I'm Joe Biden on Twitter.
So for a few hours, Twitter launched a second check mark that actually verified your real ID. A second check mark.
And then 2 hours later, they canceled that second check mark.
So Jack, what's the takeaway for all our buddies who've had a really tough 2 weeks over at Twitter?
For the next year, Twitter is a series of dumb things.
A series of dumb things. Yeah, that is not our judgment. Like, we didn't say that. That's what Elon said about Twitter under him this year.
Right after killing that second checkmark thing, he tweeted out that he's going to try lots of dumb things at Twitter in the coming months.
Elon's going to keep what works and change what doesn't.
Research and development, Twitter is crowdsourcing ideas from Twitter.
Jack, that $8 checkmark subscription idea, where did it come from?
That came from someone's tweet.
And that second checkmark idea, Jack?
It was killed because somebody tweeted about it being weird.
Yet even other companies are looking at Twitter as an experiment right now.
A lot of executives are curious. Can you run a social media company with half the number of employees as last month and not break it?
It's a fair question. Twitter's the experiment.
But for the next year, just remember, Twitter is a series of dumb things.
Jack, can you whip up the takeaways for us before the weekend?
FTX is on the brink of bankruptcy, which caused an avalanche for crypto prices.
FTX just revealed that crypto has piggy bank risk.
Our second story is stocks having their best day of the year thanks to cooling inflation.
It's a little too early to celebrate, so just do a little treat yourself.
It's too early to celebrate.
Get a burger.
For our third and final story, the fake but verified LeBron James account shows the issue with Twitter's new product.
But for the next year, just remember, Twitter, it's a series of dumb things. Now, time for the best fact yet. This one sent in by Alec Ballesteros from lovely Flagstaff, Arizona.
Push and play.
Here we go.
Hey besties, in honor of Veterans Day and to celebrate Native American Heritage Month, today's best fact yet is about Native American veterans of World War II. This includes, but is not limited to, the 29 Navajo men who became the Navajo Code Talkers, Ira Hayes and Oda Marine, who was pictured raising the flag at Iwo Jima, and the legendary Joseph Medicine Crow, the last war chief of the Crow Nation, a feat he accomplished while in Europe serving under the U.S. Army.
Happy Native American Heritage Month. Happy Veterans Day. And Jack, don't we know some of the Yetis who are veterans out there?
Oh, yeah. I'm sending a big hug and a big thank you to LaSalle Vaughn.
Can I get a big embrace over to Mr. Sam Maul?
And the Tony Nash.
He goes by the
3 of our veteran Yetis. Thanks to you and your family for your service.
And thanks, Bob, for teaching us how to paint.
Indeed.
Yetis, Jack and I will see you Monday. And before we go, we just want to say good luck to Elijah Batson, who has his second grade spelling test today down in Houston.
And congratulations to Clarissa and Chris Scott, celebrating 11 years together on 11/11 with a backyard barbecue.
And they got married in 2011 too. And Riley and Kim, congrats on the 1-year wedding anniversary down in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
And happy 2-year anniversary to Weldon Chandler and Jasmine Garmendia in Oklahoma City.
And Varun Prakash is heading out on a cruise because he just got a new job down in Houston.
Congratulations. And happy 28th birthday to Andreas Chatner in Portland, Oregon.
And Barbros Ozturk celebrating the birthday wins in Vancouver, Canada.
And happy 27.5th birthday to MT Bungaro in Chicago.
Chicago rounds up.
And to anyone else celebrating something today, make it a T-boy.
Celebrate the wins.
This is Jack. Nick and I both own stock of Robinhood. We both own ETFs of the S&P 500, and we both own some Bitcoin.
A Bitcoin named Ben.
Now, a word about our sponsor, Robinhood.
Jack, rule number 1 about a kitchen renovation, tell your friends about your kitchen renovation.
We know the cabinets are expensive.
Well, in the pandemic, a lot of companies renovated their businesses, focusing on apps and digital.
Robinhood didn't have to. It was built digital from the start.
Robinhood's mobile-first and intuitive design makes investing a little easier for every stage of your investing journey.
Whether you want to trade options, ETFs, or stocks through Robinhood Financial, or buy some Bitcoin on Robinhood Crypto, you can do all that right on the Robinhood app.
If you're not investing on Robinhood yet, to get started, go to Robinhood.com/TBoy and choose your free stock.
That's Robinhood.com/TBOY. Limitations apply.
Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. All investments involve risk.
By the way, this podcast is not owned by or part of Robinhood, and we are not employees of Robinhood.